Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Inked Reader. Today I'm doing the exciting wrap-up for June of my manga. I think it's just manga, to be fair, on one graphic novel, and I'm gonna do a TBR for July. This is gonna probably come before my books wrap-up on my channel, just because I thought, because I've done a TBR for July for the books, it'd be nice to give you as soon as possible my TBR for July for also manga and graphic novels. So I thought it was only fair to just put this up, but I combined that with a wrap-up. So yeah, the wrap-up for books is gonna come in a few days. Said that, I'm gonna go through all the things that I have read in June and then give you at the end my TBR for July. I want to premise that the only reason why I've actually did not read the Kurosagi Delivery Corps is because, finger crossed, I actually found the book 2 omnibus and it's on its way. I've ordered it from Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm really hoping it's not a scam. I'm really hoping that's book number 2 of the omnibus edition, which combines 3 volumes. So I thought, instead of purchasing the online like Kindle version, which I hate reading comics on my Kindle, like I absolutely loathe the idea of doing that because I do like to hold the book and so on, I had desperately looked for the omnibus. I've got them up there, the other ones, so which I'm collecting them with the omnibus, but the book number 2 of the omnibus was completely sold out for a year basically. So now I found it for a reasonable price, so I'm hoping it's coming, and if it does come, then I will read the omnibus, so 3 volumes, rather than getting on my Kindle. So that's why I didn't get around to read that one, not because of time or didn't want to, just because I found, finger crossed, the omnibus version. So I will start number 6. And this is in order of enjoyment. I have to say that overall I had a very good reading month, and it was very hard to put 1 to 3 in order just because I love them so much for different reasons. But anyway, I've tried and I'll explain while I go through them why they are in the places that they are. So on number 6 we have the only graphic novel I read this month, which was Never Open It, the Taboo trilogy. This contains basically 3 short stories, and this is some of the art for you guys, and these stories are all about legends and taboos that are, I think, in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. They are basically part of the culture in Japan, and explains the legend behind those taboos and how they came to be. And I have to say that overall I did enjoy these. It was very cute. I absolutely love the art. It was such a quick read. I've read this probably in like an hour, not even that. I did enjoy learning more about each taboos. Said that, I thought I was expecting probably something more in a sense, and I don't think that for what it was, paying full price, which was kind of expensive, was worth it. I'll be really honest. It's still, like, just because of the art, it's lovely. I'm gonna keep it. I give this 3.5 stars. I think overall, if I didn't spend so much money on it, I wouldn't mind it as much, but because I thought it was okay, it was cute, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like as good as expected, I kind of regretted paying full price for it. And I don't know if I will ever reread it, but I might. I'm gonna decide what to do with these. But yeah. At number 5 I have Deserter by Junji Ito. This is a collection of short stories. Now listen, I always enjoy Ito. Like, I will always read his manga. I really love his body horror, and this collection of short stories was no different. I really enjoyed it, apart from maybe a couple that I wasn't that sold on the end, but again, the journey was nice. I did enjoy all the stories, more or less. They were gross, they were interesting. I was eager to know what would happen in the end. The only thing I have to just say, and this is probably why it's number 5, is yes, first of all, it's not his strongest collection of short stories, which I knew, but again, I'm still very happy I have it. I'm still very happy I've collected it. I will reread it and so forth. But also, I think maybe because I kind of read a lot of Ito recently, in the last months, is that I wished that his characters would be a bit more different from story to story, and I would like a bit more visually different characters, even a bit of personalities, just kind of mix things up more a bit. So the element of repetitiveness that maybe because I consumed so much in the last few months, it's kind of getting to a point where, oh, okay, I don't distinguish one character, one pair of characters from one story to the other. It feels like it's always the same. But at the end of the day, he's the king of body horror. I always love how gross and disgusting this gets. I will always read it. It's in 5th place, but I gave it a full 4 stars. So that's how much I had a good time in terms of my reading. So, you know, if you like Ito, you don't want to miss anything by Ito, basically. At number 4, I have The Flowers of Evil, and this is again including, I think, 3 volumes. It's the omnibus version, and I'm gonna show you some of the art. Now, this is a bit of a weird story in itself. I love the art. In the sense that in the first volume, you follow this boy who's obsessed with this girl in his class. One day he steals something of hers from her gym bag, I believe, and another girl in the classroom, which she's a girl she's very unpopular and considered a bit of like an odd one. She sees him and she starts threatening him to expose him as a pervert. And fundamentally, for the first 2 volumes, I was a bit confused on what was the point of the story, and I think in this volume finally I kind of got it. And I think at the end of the day, yes, it is him accepting himself in the sense that, you know, he's described as a pervert and accepting that he's a pervert, while to be fair, in a sense, he's just a boy who has sexual impulses and is trying to kind of come to terms with having them, but he feels himself as being ostracized by others because of these impulses. It feels like, you know, no one has them, while for me, looking at that from an external point of view, it feels like he's just a teenage boy having his first crush and sexual impulses and so forth. So it felt very normal in a sense. And it was a bit weird for me then to go on this journey with him on accepting to be a pervert, while I didn't think he was a pervert. So it was very weird for me because he felt just a normal teenager. But in the book, in the manga, he was very much frowned upon and he's looking at him feeling all this guilt. So I was a bit confused around what am I supposed to get? And in this one, I think actually kind of understood a bit more. I feel like I've understood a bit more. And I think ultimately what this is a story about teenage depression and how your thoughts and your feelings can impact, you know, your mood. And then this feels very oppressive as a story while you read it. Like the atmosphere, the dialogues in it, the main character that you follow, it feels very, it's a heavy story, and it doesn't appear so on the surface because apparently it's just, you know, everyday slice of life of this boy. But at the same time, because I work with teens and with teen depression, I could see a lot of that in this character. I could see how a lot of the things I've seen in everyday real life teenagehood depression I could see in this boy. So I really appreciate this volume more because I think it clarifies a bit more on what this manga is about. And I think it's about this boy having depression and struggling with, you know, accepting himself and how society sees him, and which is a struggle that so many teens go through. So I really appreciate the core of this story now that I think I can grasp it more. And with depression in teens, I don't mean that's fully explained and fleshed out. I think the way this character interacts with others, the way his daily life is portrayed, his stream of consciousness and the dialogues that he has with people that he struggles and finally connects with or tries to evidence that, brings that to light. And I think also is a very good portrait on how teens' emotions fluctuates and how, you know, events in their life can turn how they feel around and then they go back in the loop of feeling down. So that's what I meant with teenage depression. It's not, oh hi, this is about teenage depression, this is what it looks like. It's more subtle. And I think there's only one more volume, so I'm happy to conclude the series. I think I've overall really enjoyed it for what it was. It was very different from any kind of manga that I've ever read. It's not something usually I would reach out for, and I think it started from, oh, this is one of the most bizarre manga I've ever written, and then now realizing, in my opinion, what it was doing with this. And the art is absolutely lovely. Yes, I think I'm happy I've continued on with this journey. I'm happy now I'm getting answers, and I'm very happy to get to the end, and I gave this full 4 stars. So here is where it got complicated, because I honestly loved so much number 3, 2 and 1, so much for different reasons that I struggled with putting them in order. So really take this with a pinch of salt. In a sense, they could all go a number 1 more or less, and I honestly had the best time of the month because of these 3 things. So number 3, I've got Chainsaw Man, volume 1, and I finally picked this up and read it. Let me show you some of the art. This is a very popular manga series at the moment. An anime adaptation is coming out, and it's basically the story of this boy who was grown up on his own, and he has this dog, demon dog, as a companion, who is the only stable thing in his life. He's basically homeless and wild, if in a sense, and all of a sudden one day he gets in a lot of trouble and he has to make a deal, to which then he gets superpowers and he will use them to fight demons that are in this world. It's a very difficult one to give you a synopsis for without giving any spoilers, so I hope it's enough, but I'm pretty sure that probably you already know what this is about. So this was so bloody good, so gross in the best way possible, so brutal, and again in the best way possible. It had been a while, not considering Berserk, because Berserk, yes, I'm reading it now, but it is an old series, so it has been like a year or so, even 2 years, since I've read something so unapologetically brutal, so unapologetically grotesque in a sense. And I think I've read a series 2 years ago that I could probably compare in terms of the amount of violence, but this was so good because of that. It's definitely my genre when it comes down to manga, as you could have guessed by now. More, you know, on the violent and showing that violence style. And I also really like that because it's a genre that overall it's not so fresh, although the amount of violence is more than I'm used to in other comics, but it's still a genre that I've consumed before. However, I think what is fresh about this is the protagonist. We follow this basically a homeless, wild, uneducated boy who's very naive and feels very naive. Like, I think that's what I appreciated about this. It's not trying to make our protagonist, oh yeah, he didn't go to school, he's been living in barracks all his life, but yes, he's so clever, so intelligent, so mature. No, he is a dumb, naive boy who's horny, and I appreciated that because I thought that was more realistic. He's feral, and fair enough, like, you know, he had a hard life, so I really enjoyed him as a character, and I'm really curious to see how he grows, if he does. But also, like, I felt like I want to cuddle him, like I wanted to bring him home and give him love and just like, you know, oh no, you had such a terrible, awful life, like I want good things for you, and instead horrible things, horrible shit keeps happening. So I'm actually very much feeling for this boy because of how naive he is. I feel like I wanna, I don't know, take care of him in a sense. And so, I don't know, they made me care so much about a boy in just one volume, so that's why I'm loving this so far, and I will definitely continue on. And I gave it 4.5, 4.75 stars. I'm really liking these, plus the violence. At number 2, and again, this could go to number 1. It's a very different genre, and it's a start of a new series, so that's why it's a number 2. But honestly, the hype, guys, the hype is so real for this. This is Spy Family. It's the story of this spy who has to infiltrate a high school, and to do so is given a fake family. And of course, the fake family is made of a wife who is an assassin, and he doesn't know that, and she doesn't know he's a spy. And finally he has to adopt this daughter who is a telepath, but they don't know she's a telepath, so she knows all the truth, but they don't, so there's a lot of miscommunication in that sense, and it's just the cutest thing ever. I think the hype for this is just so bloody real. I understood why everybody loved this so much. Also felt like something I've never read before. The humor, the cuteness, the relationships that are developing with these characters. I'm just like, I need to know, I need to know. So that comes from a frustrating part of all of this, because volume 2, in England at least, it's impossible to find. And I am heartbroken. However, I'm keep checking Amazon every week or so just to see if it's back in stock. I will check on, like, you know, Waterstones and so forth. I'm also just guessing that maybe they do a bind-up edition. I am continuing with the series somehow, but I don't want to read it as like a like on my Kindle, because as I said, I hate it, and I do want to own this series 100%. So I'm gonna be waiting for, you know, the release of a second volume, bind-up edition, whatever. I need to continue on. I love this so far so much, and hopefully not too many months will pass, otherwise I'll just cave in and just go on my Kindle. But Spy Family is all over the place, all over the internet, and there is a very good reasons. It's 5 stars. I can't wait to continue on. Honestly, guys, it's been such an amazing year so far. I know that we are middle of the year. Many have done the book freak out tag, whether I've not done it because I think it spoils things for the end of the year. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know if you want to see it. But the year so far has been so amazing because all this content, all this new manga, anime, and some books I've read, and just Spy Family, guys. Spy Family. I need to get my hands on volume number 2. It's just the cutest, most awesome things ever. And now, you already know, because you know, if you've seen me for like the last 6 months, you will know what's coming. You know, it's Berserk, the omnibus edition again. This is volume 6, which contains volumes. We are still in the conviction arc. So you got 16, 17 and 18th volume of Berserk. And I mean, I've talked so much about Berserk that I'm not giving you a synopsis. Honestly, like, no one probably needs a synopsis for Berserk, right? Love how big the pages are. I can inhale these arts and just, it's the best. These editions are so cool. So with volume 5 of the omnibus, I think I had to adjust back because we go from the Golden Age arc, which broke me, basically physically broke me, to, you know, the conviction arc, and the adjustment took a bit of time in my opinion. But with these, I was back in, I was back to be fully invested. I was back on track, and so yeah, I enjoyed these probably more, a tiny bit more than volume 5. I have to say the art is getting better. Like, there are some panels where I'm just staring at them for full 10 minutes. Maybe there is not even dialogue in it, but I just stare at the art because of how amazing it is. And I'm just, I don't know, I think it's getting better. But each volume, again, Berserk has one of the most amazing violence and combat scenes ever because they're very neat. You can always understand what's going on, who's losing its head, and so forth. So the art is like 6 stars, like so amazing. But I also think the characters are getting even more complex. You're getting more into their stream of consciousness, in a sense. You're getting more about their, you know, where they are at and how they came to be there after the Golden Age arc. So I was completely hooked. Some new characters are introduced to you, and also this is getting more religious in a sense. So the Catholic Church presence is very much evident in these, and the atrocities and the, you know, the main players of the church are coming into play into these. So the story gets more intricate, and that got me completely hooked. And I have to say that the growth of Guts in this is amazing. Like, he comes to realization with something that he tends to do. Like, again, I'm trying not to give any spoilers, but basically he realizes that he has some mechanism that he would play over and over since his childhood, and now he's saying, I need to stop doing that, I need to go back and actually fix that. So his character growth was amazing, and I think now they've spent 18 volumes with him, I am truly getting to know Guts and going on this journey of development and despair and growth, and in a certain sense, hope. I do have a lot of hope for Guts, and it's amazing. It's a character that feels very alive, and so yeah, it's a 5 stars. It's Berserk. It made my year. Like, Berserk so far is one of the best things with Attack on Titan that I've experienced. But again, this month with the new series Spy Family and Chainsaw Man, like these things, guys, these things have made 2022 so fucking awesome. So yeah, that was it in terms of my wrap up. As you can see, I had an amazing time. Okay, so let's go into the TBR part. Now, I have to be realistic this month because from halfway through the month my grandparents are coming and I rarely see them, so I want to spend a lot of time with them, and so my reading will go down for sure. Like I won't be reading as much in the rest of the month. However, in August I am working, but I've got long weekends and I've got so much time to read, so August is gonna be awesome. But let's make July still pretty cool with this TBR, shall we? Hopefully I can get around to all of them. So number one, I will continue with Berserk, the Omnibus Volume 7, which is volumes 19, 20 and 21. I don't know if I finish the conviction arc. I will have to check online. And once I finish the conviction arc, I'll do another like separate video, spoilery video about the conviction arc. Then what I'm gonna read next is I'm gonna continue on with Chainsaw Man. So I'm gonna probably read volume 2 and 3 of Chainsaw Man, and at least 2 volumes I want to read this month. And yeah, continue on with these because I need to know. I need to know. Then I want also to continue on with a couple of shoujo, actually shoujo series, because I don't want to leave them for years and then forget the story. So I'm going to continue on with Kiss of a Rose Princess. I've wrapped up the first volume a couple of months ago, but this is a inverted harem shoujo manga. With this girl that can kiss these 4 cards and 4 knights will appear, but these four knights are all people in her life already, that, you know, the popular boy in school, the boy she couldn't stand, and so forth. So it's a bit of a funny dynamic, and again, inverted harem in shoujo anime is one of my favorite tropes. So I'm gonna continue on, because I think the story just started in the first volume. And then I'm going to continue on with Dengeki Daisy. This is, again, shoujo manga. Basically, this girl lost her brother, and her brother gave her the number of his best friend to be in contact with. So she's kind of developing this relationship with this best friend of her dead brother. And with him, she can be, you know, she can share the grief and so on. But at the same time, she's having this kind of hate relationship with this boy in school. Is making her life miserable, and it was just like so far a love triangle that was very cute. And I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm just gonna leave that. Oh, should I show you the art of Kiss of a Rose Princess? And this is the Dengeki Daisy. They changed, I think it's another publisher, volume 2, so they changed the graphics on the cover, but I'm trying not to be too mad about that. And the other manga that I'm gonna read for the month, again I'm gonna keep it simple for this month just because grandparents, it's I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. This is a complete manga collection. Can we appreciate? This is a contemporary manga, which is usually not my genre, but I've heard good things about these and I love these so much, the graphics. This is about the story of this boy who connects with this girl who has a terminal illness, and I think it's a self-contained manga, and probably it's gonna be something that makes me cry. I don't know, we will see. Hopefully it's very touching and looks amazing. And then I'm gonna read a couple of graphic novels. They're just my feel-good graphic novels, if you want. So one is Rick and Morty. Should be volume number 4. I don't understand why. Oh yeah, it's number 4 volume. I don't think I've read it. If I've read it, I'll just move on to the next one. I've not read it, but these are just self-contained Rick and Morty graphic novels, and I love Rick and Morty with all my life, so it's just one that I've not read in a while though, and I think I've collected up to volume 9, but the way they categorize these, there's no number on here, so it's a bit confusing. I need to go online. I think I've not read these, so I'm gonna read a Rick and Morty graphic novel, but I hope it's this. And then I'm gonna read Adventure Time. This is a spin-off of a main graphic novel series, and again it's a self-contained series in the sense that, you know, it's Adventure Time, so in each volume you go on different adventures, so it doesn't really matter if you don't go from the first one onward, but I like to go chronologically. But this is a spin-off, so this is a it's not like a numbered volume if you want it. And I have owned these for ages and never read these. So before I continue on with the next volume, which I think I need to read volume 6 of this graphic novel series, I just wanted to read this one-off spin-off. And I think this is about Fiona and Cake. And it's adventure time. It's a good time. It's always a good time, adventure time. So that was it for my TBR so far. Let's see if I can get around to all of that. I guess sometimes it's easier to get around to manga rather than a book just because of how quick it is. If I got an hour here or there, I can just read one, so hopefully I can make it. But yeah, apart from Berserk, which I've not yet received in the post, these are gonna be my TBR. And stay tuned for August. August I wanna do like an epic TBR. Well, from what I consider epic, I think it's subjective to what you consider epic, right? Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. What are you gonna read in July? Let me know. And yeah, let's chat in the comments down below. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Ciao!